corporates, corporations tax or corporate tax. So it was in which form? Direct tax or indirect tax? Direct tax. Who was the next contributor? Salaried, no? Individuals, no? Income tax, this one. Income tax, almost 16%. So even this was your form of direct taxes. And the rest of them were indirect taxes. Remember? Expenditure is again not our concern much, right? We are mainly concerned from where the government is earning and from who all they are collecting. What about tax rates we have seen on an average? India has around 30%. When I compare this 30, I can compare it with the rest of the countries. Which countries have highest tax rates? Sweden, Denmark, some European countries. How much China has? 45%, I think, yes. We had seen, no? Yes, Germany also 45%, Sweden 57%. Yes, remember? So from your ice cream or chocolate, 55%, 60% gone towards government. Okay. In India, how much gone? 30% on a higher side. Fine. Again, like I said, these numbers are rounded off. They are very basic figures. Okay. When we do actual calculations, some percentage here and there will obviously fluctuate. We compared India's tax rate with other countries also with BRICS nation. Yes. In BRICS nation, highest was China. Least is, I think, Russia. It looks like it's around 12 or 13%. Looks like that. Okay. Brazil is again close to India. Yes. And world average was again, what is India's rate? That is also almost close to world average. 25 countries, top 25 countries we have seen. Yes. 55%, 57%. And in top 25 also, highest percentage was almost 42%. China was 45. Do you see? China 45%. Yes. Fine. This tax rate comparison between separate countries. Yes. Tax to GDP ratio. Why do we use it? It is an important indicator for the government to understand how much tax is being collected. Can we increase the tax rates, or is there a scope to reduce the tax rates? So what is tax to GDP ratio? Percentage of GDP, tax to GDP ratio. How much tax amount is collected by the government upon GDP of that country. So that ratio of India can be compared with another set of countries. So that becomes again a comparison point for our government to understand how much tax can be levied, or some discounts can be given, or we need to tax more now. Are you following? So it is one of the important features. Why am I using this slide or this part is because these wordings find their mention in budget speech. Okay, in budget speech. What is a budget speech? Given by who? Finance Minister of India. Very good. When? Now this time it is always from 1st February every year. Very good. And in his budget speech, at times we have used or seen this terms he has used. Tax to GDP ratio. So they become a kind of important indicator for us. Taxes kitna collect ho raha hai and how much we need to collect more or less, etc., etc. Okay. Important discussion again. An act has, or a law statute has, act as well as rules. Okay. Act means what part? The what part. And the rule means what part? The how part. Okay. What is allowed, not allowed, that is all given in act. How to actually execute it, that is given in rules. Okay. So for all three, basically we are going to see Companies Act, Income Tax, GST, Act as well as rules. Yes or no? So they go hand in hand. Act and rules goes hand in hand. Yes or no? So we are going to study Income Tax Act as well as Income Tax rules. Similarly, in Companies Act, we also learn Companies Act as well as Companies rules. Are you following? So PAN card, what is a PAN card? Permanent account number. It is kind of like, it is like a kind of identification number for income tax department or for income tax purposes. And some sections in Income Tax Act says that PAN card is, or PAN number is very important or compulsory. Some transactions or persons who are paying taxes, they need to be identified. So for them, that number is compulsory. Yes? But that is only what the Act is saying. How to actually apply for PAN, what is the form number, the format of that form, where to submit, its fees, etc., etc. That all is given in rules. Okay? So that is very important. Similarly, income tax returns. Income tax returns are usually filed, yes or no, by taxpayers. So again, Income Tax Act says that income tax returns need to be filed. In which format, what is the form number, that etc. is given in rules. Is it okay? Yes. Returns. Pay attention now. Whenever we will use this word returns in income tax, GST or Companies Act, okay, this returns means not something is coming in return. Okay, this return doesn't mean something refund. Returns means nothing but basically form. That's it. Returns means what? It's basically a form in a prescribed format. You update that form, you fill that form, and then you submit that form to the relevant authorities. What am I saying? Are you understanding? Whenever we'll use the word returns, it means what? It's just a normal form. You fill that form, update that form, and you give it, submit it to the relevant authorities. Relevant authorities means, now if we are studying income tax, it will be income tax department. Income tax department. So when I say ITR, okay, it is a short form for income tax returns. That's it. So when I say income tax return, that doesn't mean income tax amount you're getting back. Okay, it only means what? It is just a form. Okay, we call it as return. It is just a form. You fill that form and you submit it to income tax department. Okay, that how much was your income during the year, how much taxes you have paid, how much is the refund, or how much more tax you had to pay, etc., etc. That all details will be given in income tax return once in a year. Of course, we will be doing that also in detail later on. But first word important over here was returns. So in Companies Act also, in income tax, in GST, these laws, you will always see that returns need to be filed. Are you following? So for income tax purpose, the relevant authority is income tax department. Are you following till here? Yes? Fine. So we need to file income tax returns or income tax forms once in a year at least, and then that you have to update with income tax department. So that you have to file or not, you have to basically file, that is given in section, in act. How to do that actual process is given in rules. Is it clear now? Absolutely. So PAN card we have seen, income tax returns we have seen. Similarly, section 32 in income tax also talks about depreciation. Now again, section 30 talks about depreciation needs to be provided for. That's it. It doesn't talk much about depreciation. But depending on the class of assets. So section 32 in income tax talks about depreciation to be provided for. It doesn't give you rates. But you might be knowing in accounting also, you need to calculate that rates, you need to check which kind of asset it is, okay? So when in income tax we learn that depending on the type of the asset, separate rates are given by income tax rules. So one thing now you need to keep very much clear. Companies Act is one thing, accounting you do is another thing, income tax is third separate thing, and GST is another separate thing. Don't mix the definitions from one act to another, don't mix the concepts from one act to another, and also don't mix the depreciation rates from one act to another. So whatever depreciation methods, whatever you do in accounting, see, you keep in accounting only. Income tax we have separate functions. Are you following? Income tax will have separate depreciation rates, and how to calculate that we have to see. Are you following? So income tax follows income tax only. It has nothing to do with rest of your acts or whatever you do in accounting. Are you following? Yes? Very good. So an act is divided into chapters. Chapters means all the related concepts are put together at one place. Yes? And chapters are again divided into sections. Sections can have subsections. Subsections can have clause. And clause can have subclauses. Very smart. So Income Tax Act 1961 and Income Tax Rules 1962. It will give you the actual practical methods by which you can do a particular thing. So even in rules you can have sub-rules, but importantly in that rule book, mainly what we use are the forms or the format. So just like if you tell you are going to apply for PAN, maybe in your life anytime soon, we will tell the process also. For that PAN also there is a prescribed form or a format. That form number, exactly the format is also given in rules, income tax rules. Are you following? Then like I said, ITR 1, right now we don't have ITR 7, but of course we used to have. ITR 1 means income tax return number 1. So there are ITR 1, 2, 3, 4, 4S, 5, 6, 7. So there are types of income tax returns forms. That's it. Returns means what now? forms. And where are we submitting the form? To the relevant authority. For income tax purpose, we are submitting to income tax department. Is it clear? Yes. So depending on the type of taxpayer, depending on his type of income, etc., we require or we use different income tax returns forms. Are you following? What did I say? Depending on type of taxpayer, depending on his types of incomes, etc., separate forms are given from ITR 1 up to ITR 7. These form numbers or formats, they keep on changing little bit from year to year. Why? That will also we'll discuss in some time. Are you following? So whenever you talk about the how part, the rules, they are in a way not permanent. ऐसा नहीं कि something rule or you have format right now and you'll use it for 50 years or 100 years. No. It is little bit adaptive. It changes little bit depending on the requirements of the relevant authority. Are you following? If the department thinks, no, now we need this, now we need that, they may keep on changing the formats of those forms. Yes? Okay till now? And like I said, depreciation is to be charged or depreciation has to be levied. This will come in section. What are the rates? They will be given in income tax rules. Yes? Important part. Rules are given by CBDT. Okay? From Central Board of Direct Taxes. So it is an authority under your Indian government. You have another hierarchy that we will be going through. That board decides what rules, formats or income tax returns format should be. So rules are given by CBDT. Pay attention. Rules are not passed in legislation. Legislature, do you remember legislature? Wherever we are making law, amending law, repealing law. Remember? So every year the budget speech is given, the act is passed in legislation. Are you following? Rules are not going through legislation. They are coming directly from CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes. So the authority is put on CBDT. You see how to execute. Are you following? Rules, what is the help of rules? It will help us to understand how to actually execute a particular thing. That authority is put on CBDT. So it is CBDT's duty to look into the forms, format, when to release them, etc., etc. Not of the parliament. Are you following this? Yes? So acts and rules, they act like husband and wife, they go in hand. Okay? They supplement or complement each other. Whatever is not given in act, it will be exactly explained or given in detail in rules. Yes? PAN. How many of you have PAN? Only one or two? Three. Okay, very good. So what is the full form of PAN? Permanent Account Number. So whenever I say PAN, it is already a number. But we are used to calling it as PAN number. Are you following? So PAN, whatever is the N in the PAN, the N is actually already number. Yes? So permanent account number. So it is obviously a number, just like your Aadhaar number. Yes? Just like your roll number in colleges and classes. Yes? The first word is important. It is permanent. Chipak gaya. It is with you. It is your number, whole and soul, for rest of your life. Okay? Till whatever time you are using that PAN. So that number is not changing. Keep this in mind. You cannot change the number until you die. Whenever you die, that number becomes inactive, but that number is not changing. Are you following this? Yes? Okay. It is just like your Aadhaar number or Aadhaar card unique identity number. Yes? It is for what reason? To identify who is the taxpayer. So an identification number given by income tax department for their own purpose, that number is nothing but PAN, permanent account number. Are you following this? That number is a alphanumeric number. It means it has alphabets also as well as numbers also. It is a combination of both. It is a standard combination. Check. For example, I have given you my PAN. Okay. First how many characters? First 5 characters are alphabets. Next 4 are numbers. And again last one is a alphabet. This is a standard format. 5, 4 and 1. Samjha? 5 alphabets, 4 numbers and again 1 alphabet. Standard. It is permanent in nature. That means it will not change. Especially for females, those who get married and change surname. Even in that case, the PAN number will not change. At times the firms or companies are taken over by some other companies. In that case also, the PAN do not change. Number is always permanent. Now over here, in my PAN, or even in those of you who have PAN, you will definitely see character number 4 as P. Even right now, those who are sitting, okay. Fourth character, can you see P? Yes, and fifth character, here it is M. The fourth character is basically for the type of taxpayer. Type of taxpayer. P over here stands for person. That means individual, like you and me. समझ रहे हो? So whenever you will apply for PAN, compulsorily your fourth character will be P. Those of you who have PAN, fourth character is P. The fifth character is the last name's initial. What it is? Fifth character's last name's initial. So my second last name is Mahajan. So my M will be my fifth character. Similarly for you, whenever you have PAN, fifth character is what? Your surname's that initial, first character. Are you following? This is by default. What does it have? It is again a card. It will have full name, again father's name, date of birth, signature if you again you are individual, photograph if you are an individual. Individual means again persons like you and me. समझ रहे हो? Very good. So name, full name, date of birth, photograph, signature, and obviously the number which is allotted by the department, PAN, right? How many digit number? 10. 5, 4 and 1. Remember the format? Check this person's PAN, for example. So there is a hologram, security features, photograph, it is laminated. First his full name, father's name, date of birth, PAN and signature. Can you see that? Yes or no? Yes. What is the surname? Gandhi, you can read, good. So what will be the fifth character over there in his PAN should be G. Fourth character is P because he is a person, individual for this purpose. Are you following? This will be a standard format. Yes? Okay. जोशी तुम्हारा क्या होगा? PJ, है ना? More PAN. It is what? Company. Sachi Energy Private Limited. It is a company. So obviously company will not have photograph and signature, okay, for that company. So what will it have? Date of birth of a company means date of incorporation. Very good. And obviously the PAN number or PAN basically, right? So since it is a company, the fourth character is C. And again, the first name now, the Sachi S, that will be the fifth character. Are you following? So basically this is how you are going to understand if at all you get any PAN, it is for a person or a company or trust, etc., etc. And you can also have a guess or an idea what the name starts with. If it is for a person, you can guess the surname. It is for a company, you can understand or guess what should be the first name of that company. Are you following? Yes? Fine. So fourth character we have discussed. Yes? P is for individual, C is for company, H is for Hindu undivided family, A is for association of persons, B for BOI, G for government agency, etc., etc., etc. Right? We are not concerned with the rest of them, so leave it. Okay? Two websites which you need to refer regularly. Okay? Write down if you want in your notebook. On the last page you can write down. Incometaxindia.gov.in. On Income Tax India e-filing.gov.in. The first website over here is just a kind of an introduction website. It talks about income tax department, CBDT, offices, jurisdiction. It also gives you access to act, rules, notifications, circulars, and little bit of calculators already available on that website. Okay? Are you following till here? The second website is most important to us. Over here, you can pay taxes. Over here, you can file your income tax returns. So this site is more important to us. Alright? Income Tax India e-filing.gov.in. Usually this is the website which gets hanged, or it is already lots of burden whenever we are closer to the due date of income tax returns. Okay? Just couple of days back, due dates had been extended, and that happens usually whenever we are closer to due date, website hangs. Just like the results of ICI website also hangs. You get it quite delayed at times. Okay? So, but second website is more important, more practical. Are you following? If you want to confirm something, understand something relating to income tax, the first website is important. Okay, first website, anything related to income tax. Okay, act, rules, circular, notification, some calculations or calculators. Second is more practical towards filing of income tax returns. Is it okay? And then when we were doing articleship, we understood all this knowledge of PAN. And then for 3 years, as it is, we do lots of time pass in office. So we also did lots of time pass in office. And then we were just doing a little bit of trial and error. Is it really true? Can we really find out PAN of someone, okay, or somebody? And that is what we did, okay. So know your PAN. Basically, this is the website, incometaxindia.efiling.gov.in. I told you this website right now. Over there is one of the features, know your PAN. Okay, so that feature is given for you to know about your own PAN. Okay, but we use it to know someone else's PAN also. But if at all, basically, if you have missed your PAN number or PAN card, and if you really don't remember that, usually that happens also at times with senior citizens. They don't really remember that PAN. In that case, that service is provided. Okay, so I have given you a screenshot of that website. Okay, can you see e-filing over here? E-filing, yes or no? That website is of e-filing, and over here you had some of the features or options for to know your PAN. Yes. Can you see asterisk mark? Asterisk. Yeah. The asterisk is only for date of birth. Okay, date of birth or incorporation and surname. Only 2 things. Rest of the details are not much important. So basically, if you have these 2 details, you can find someone's PAN. Okay. So is it really something private? PAN is something really private? No. You can find out anybody's PAN. That is not a very big deal. But as students, at times during articleship, then we were very curious to find out PAN, okay, of celebrities. Okay, so everyone, all of us in the office, we were like, who is a celebrity and who is a favorite celebrity, and we were doing all of this. And then some things are so publicly available. You have date of birth available, and obviously you know the, not just the surname, you know the name and also know the middle name also, right? And then just you put the details in the website, and then you get the PAN details also, right? You get the PAN details. Are you following? Can you see the PAN number, PAN? Yes? 4th and 5th character for them obviously is P and P. I am not taking the name. I hope you have understood now, right? And check here. Jurisdiction is given Bangalore. That residential address or address proof might have been given of Bangalore, but the jurisdiction is over there in Bangalore for this person, Deepika Padukone. Okay. But the point is not just about PAN, about jurisdiction also. Okay. We have learned a little bit of jurisdiction. Yes. What it is? Wherever it is applicable. That we have learned regarding Act. And jurisdiction is also important to delegate. What do you mean by delegate? To give on, pass on some work. So that you should know who is responsible for what. Yes or no? I told you, if at all any crime is committed or any disputes are there in a particular city, the first preference will go to the court of that city, civil court of that city limits. Yes or no? Can another city take up that matter? No. Only that court which has jurisdiction over that area can take up that case. Similarly, when the appeal is given, it will go to High Court, again of that area only. Can we go to some other state and appeal over there in High Court? No. So jurisdiction is important. So for this taxpayer having this PAN, the responsible authority or the person who has jurisdiction is so and so. Are you following? This number is given, or that is basically a jurisdiction. Those officers or that department has jurisdiction over this particular taxpayer. So each and every taxpayer who has a PAN is already identified along with its jurisdiction. Are you following? So whatever basically address you give, residential address or communication address, depending on that, for the first time, your jurisdiction is decided. Are you following? Later on, if you migrate or change your address, etc., jurisdiction also gets changed. Are you following? So that it is easy for the income tax department to understand who should be responsible to check the income taxes, etc. details of this particular taxpayer. Following? I hope you will do this also, okay, during your articleship. Can you again see on the left hand side some services? Can you see? Quick links for tax calculators, apply online, PAN, TAN. Can you see? What is TAN? We will go to that also. E-pay taxes. E-pay matlab what? Online payment of taxes. And Form 26 is. By the end of 2.5 months, 3 months, whenever we'll be done with income tax, all of this should be or will be exactly clear to you. Are you following? I'm just giving you a trailer what all is going to happen. Okay, fine. We'll go ahead. So that is the kind of feeling we have, a nice feeling. Oh, we got something out of some extra knowledge.